Hey everybody, this is Katie from the Career Services Office at BSU. For a lot of you, your next step after graduation will be the job search, but there's still a number of students that are actually thinking about going the graduate school path, whether that's going directly from your undergrad into a graduate program, or maybe even taking a year or two off to find some work before applying to graduate school. The most important thing to know would be the timeline for this process. So we want to walk through what the traditional timeline would look like for students who are thinking about graduate school as their next step. The best time to start thinking about graduate school is actually during your junior year. This will give you enough time to plan ahead and to create a timeline that will work for you. During your junior year, it's important to make sure you're maintaining your grades so that your GPA will be a solid high GPA for your graduate school applications. It's also a time when you can start researching what type of grad programs will interest you. Different types of degrees, different types of concentrations, and different locations in terms of what type of program you're most interested in. Every program is slightly different, and so with that, they might require different types of standardized tests. The most common one would be the GRE, but there of course are other ones as well for different programs, whether it's for business or medical school or a variety of other paths. Start researching those now so you have a sense of what you'll need to take. It's also important to start thinking about the cost of graduate school and how you might plan to afford it. Career Services has a whole host of resources to help you better understand this, but it's definitely one of the key things that students ask about most. Also during your junior year, think about what BSU faculty that you have relationships with. Continue to maintain those relationships because those may be professors that you could reach out to for a letter of recommendation. If you're thinking about going into a health or medical-based program, whether it be med school or PA school or PT or OT school, consider contacting BSU's pre-health advisor, who will be able to assist you with specific advice for those types of programs. Moving into the summer before your senior year, this is where you can actually get a lot done before the craziness of classes resumes in the fall. So you want to start researching and narrowing down the schools that you want to apply to over the summer. You may even start to begin the application process by gathering a checklist of all of the things that each school is going to require. You also can use that summer to start studying for the standardized tests for the GRE and maybe even taking them, but certainly you would want to at least schedule your exam for the summer or the fall. You also can start drafting your personal statements or your essay that will be required as part of your application. You can work on an outline and kind of start getting your writing moving. So that way when the fall semester hits, you can do some final edits and be ready to go. Once that fall semester begins in your senior year, you will want to have your personal statements or your essay critiqued. BSU has the Writing Center, the Writing Studio right on campus, and there's also recommended that you reach out to your professors and faculty since they're usually the experts in the field that you might be applying to. You will also want to request references. Typically, you'll be asked to have 3 letters of recommendation, so it's important to give those references plenty of time to write these letters and to provide them with the materials that will help them write it as well. If you haven't already, make sure you've taken and completed your standardized test by the fall. You also will want to request your official transcripts directly from the registrar's office. You can actually do that online pretty easily. And then you'll want to make sure you submit any applications early for schools that you're really interested in. The deadline dates will range. It could be anywhere from December through April or sometimes even May. Sometimes schools will even have a rolling admission basis, which means they accept applications all throughout the year. But typically a good early application deadline would be end of December or January 1st. It's also good to start thinking about financial aid and scholarships that might be available from the different schools you're thinking about and start to gather that information to help you decide how you're going to afford graduate school. Finally, in your last semester of your senior year, you'll want to make sure that you, if you haven't already, fill out the FAFSA form because graduate students can apply for federal aid as well. You'll want to make sure that you complete and submit all of any remaining applications that you have for different programs. And this is where you might be asked to come on campus for an actual interview with the department chair for that program, or potentially you could coordinate a campus visit or maybe an informal interview with some current graduate students in the different programs you're interested in. By late spring, you'll hopefully start receiving some admission letters, and you'll be able to kind of review different financial packages to decide what's the best program for you. And once you've done that, the last step would be Make sure you send out some nice thank you notes or letters to the people who've helped you along the way. So your references, maybe some faculty members, or people who've assisted you with the whole process as a whole. So if you really want to dive into the graduate school process, feel free to call Career Services to set up an appointment where we can go into all of these details in much greater depth and help you decide what will be the best graduate program for you and your future career interests. Just give us a call and we'll be happy to help.